What is going on, people, and welcome to my all-time top 10 Premier League midfielders. Shout out to Josh for this one, suggested this, said he wanted this one, so I'll be getting into it in a sec. Just before I get going, the goal is 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of June. I can only do that with your guys' support and your help and sharing the videos, liking them, putting a thumbs up on them and getting them out there for me. So come and join me on the journey, 2,000 subscribers by June, that is the target. Come with me on this journey. Let's go. So top 10 all-time midfielders. Shout out to Josh for requesting this one. Let's get into it. So at number 10, we got the Spanish maestro, Cesc Fabregas. Remember him coming to Arsenal as a youngster under the tutelage of Vieira. He learnt a lot and he had to learn quickly. For a continental player coming over, sometimes they cower away and that, and it's too rough for them, and I feel like straight away he fit into that team. He was technically very, very good, but more than good, obviously. One of the best in the league, even at a young age. But he had that toughness about him that you needed as well, the mentality and the mindset, and not getting put off doing what you're doing because you're getting roughed up when you're doing it. And I think that was something I noticed early on in him. So Cesc Fabregas, obviously, a great captain when he took over at Arsenal after all those years, and then when he took over him and became captain, he was just as good, if not even more influential for them. And then he went on to Chelsea and won a league, and he has to be on this list for me. What he did for Spain as well, and his involvement there. Even when he went to Barcelona, I thought he was great there for a number of seasons before he left. And I think he needs his flowers. So Cesc Fabregas is in at number 10. Number 9, N'Golo Kante. Obviously still playing. Most of the ones on my list, spoiler alert, are retired, but there are a couple on here that are playing at the moment. So Kante is number 9 for me. I think he's very underrated in what he does, probably the best in the world in his position. He's not quite a holding midfielder, but he can do that role, but he can also drift out wider, and he can be a box-to-box, and he's just very versatile, and he's got energy for a lifetime. And he's humble as well. Like, when you see him off the pitch or interviews and that, like, should be what every footballer should aspire to be, in my opinion. The guy is just brilliant on and off the field. Champions League winner, do you know what I mean? Won the league with Leicester. In that Leicester side, if he's not in there with, I know, Pires and Vardy and others that played their part, but especially Kante, I don't think they win that league that year with Leicester without Kante. So he deserves his flowers too, and I still think he's probably the best in his position in the world. And I rarely see him have a bad game at all. So Kante, number 9. Number 8, David Silva. Another maestro on the ball, another Spanish player. Nimble, low centre of gravity type player. World Cup winner, Euros winner. I remember him from his days at Valencia, like before he even went to City. Quality player, still doing his thing at Sociedad and still performing at a high level. And a lot of people's favourite ever City player as well, which I wouldn't be mad at you for. He's not mine, but he'd be up in one of them for City. And multiple championships, as I said, so crucial to Man City when he was there. He was there for such a long time as well. And very underrated, I think. He did get praise, but I think sometimes he goes a little bit under the radar. But David Silva has to make this list. Quality footballer, and one that football will be worse for when he retires. So David Silva, number 8. Number 7, another fellow City midfielder that would play with Silva, Yaya Toure. Now, you could easily put him so much higher on this list, and I was very tempted to, but because of some of the other names in there, I couldn't put him above some of them, so that's why he's quite low down, but he could easily be higher up as well, but this is my personal one. So Toure, I remember he had a season or two at City where he was just unstoppable. Everything he was doing was a goal or an assist. He was influencing games every game, unstoppable, undroppable. And he was good at City pretty much every year he was there, but for a couple seasons as well, like, he was on fire. Got him from Barcelona as more of a defensive midfielder, but then even evolved his game from when he was at Barcelona and he was quality then to come into City and doing what he did. I missed him as soon as he left the league, to be honest. For such a big guy, he was quicker than you'd imagine him. So strong, obviously, but I think the pace he had for a big guy was deceiving, and the technique he had as well for a big guy. Quick feet. I haven't seen many guys that heavy and that big that were that quick and that nimble on their feet. And just a very well-rounded footballer. So Yaya Toure, number 7. Number 6, Frank Lampard. Another one, I mean, all of these guys could arguably be higher, but you have to fit them in somewhere, and it was hard. So Frank Lampard is number 6 for me. I think he's the all-time midfielder top scorer in the league, in history. Vital in that first Mourinho takeover at Chelsea. Him and Terry were the spine. The two cogs that I don't think, if you haven't got them in that team, they probably wouldn't have done what they did. So Lampard should have won some sort of title with England with that squad we had. Never quite worked out with him and Gerrard in the midfield for England, but probably the best goal, I mean, statistically he is, but goal scoring wise for a midfielder, he was doing numbers that strikers do. So unbelievable, and I can't take that away from him. I did want to put him higher, but the other players, I couldn't put them below him. So again, like, unfortunate to be this low down, but I had to put him in somewhere. And vital player for England at times. That goal against Germany at the World Cup that year when it got disallowed, clearly over the line. I don't know how that never got overturned. That goes in, maybe the game changes slightly and maybe we go through in that game, but quality player for England at times, clutch for Chelsea, did it every year. And who remembers when he started out at West Ham, the stick he was getting? I think he got called something like Fat Boy or something, and Redknapp did that press conference with Lampard in the room saying that you watch and you'll see what I'm on about with this boy. And he was right. Frank Lampard, brilliant footballer, brilliant goal scorer for a midfielder, putting up strikers' numbers. So Frank Lampard, number 6. Number 5, Steven Gerrard. Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind is that night in Istanbul for Liverpool against AC Milan, when they did the comeback and they won on penalties. If he's not in that team, that doesn't happen. Obviously, he scores the header, gets them back into the game. But if he's not in that team, they don't go on to win that game. Simple as that. Just the icon and the pedestal people hold him and put him on in Liverpool, he's earned every bit of it. Such a shame he never got to win a league title with them. It was that year when they against Chelsea when he slipped and Demba Ba went through and broke their hearts. And look, I'm a Manchester United supporter, so obviously I want us to win more like titles than Liverpool, but I feel like that year they deserved it, but they slipped up. And there was no pun intended there, but he slipped and ultimately that goal killed it. But that year they were phenomenal, and Gerrard was the leader in that team. So unbelievable player. I love the way he used to drive through the midfield. I don't really feel like we've got a player like that now for England. I always preferred him to Lampard. Not by drastically, by a whole bigger difference, but I always preferred him to Lampard, hence why I have him higher. Didn't score as many goals, but some of the goals he scored was unbelievable. That one against Olympiacos in the Champions League, the one against West Ham. Do you know what I mean? I could just watch a compilation of him and just go on the goals he scored. Clutch play. Talk about clutch and a man for the moment and not bottling it. He was your guy. And another one that should have won a World Cup or a Euros with England. And a league title with Liverpool. Steven Gerrard, quality, and the job he's doing at Aston Villa right now. Obviously, we got to play them today. I'm nervous about it. Even the other day in the Cup, he come over in Old Trafford and he was almost like teasing the Old Trafford fans, and he's got that confidence still, even as a manager, and I love it. Even though he was a rival for United, I love his mentality and his aggressiveness, and his team's playing like he played, and you can see it. And he's doing a phenomenal job. And one that's sorely missed for me, Steven Gerrard, one of the best ever players for England and his club. So Steven Gerrard, number 5. Number 4, Patrick Vieira. The battles he used to have with Roy Keane, that tunnel incident with Keane at Highbury. Just my childhood was United-Arsenal matchups, they're massive games, Vieira-Keane. Ferguson, Wenger. I grew up on that, and it was what made me a Manchester United supporter. Patrick Vieira I always admired him, even though he was a rival. a lot of these I admire and like, even though they're rivals. So for me, Vieira, a brilliant technical player on the ball for another guy his size, similar to Toure, but just a leader of men, and it was easy to him, and it was natural to him. So he had to be on this list, even though he was a rival, because I grew up watching him, and he was one of them players that I wish United would have had as well. Imagine him and Keane in the same team. If they didn't clash, imagine the options you'd have. So Patrick Vieira, quality player. I've got some of his achievements down here. One-time World Cup winner, one-time European winner, Euros winner, 3-time Premier League winner, 5-time FA Cup winner, 1-time Footballer of the Year, 5-time Italian champion, and he won an Italian Cup as well. I mean, he has to be on this list, and one that I loved watching, even though he was a rival, as I said. So Patrick Vieira at number 4. Number 3, Roy Keane. The best captain Manchester United's ever had. Someone that changed this club a lot, and we need nowadays, the state the club's in. It never happened now, but that leader of men that you need is definitely not what Maguire's doing. Almost like Ronaldo type in terms of that mindset he had. Yes, he could go a bit far sometimes, but sometimes I still rather have that than have a shy captain or someone that doesn't speak up. And Roy Keane, not even... A lot of people look at Keane and just think he was a thug footballer and just an animal, but he was a very good player as well, and I don't think he gets the credit he should have got. 2002 World Cup, he had that falling out with Mick McCarthy, had to go home early. I think if he was in the Ireland team, they would have gone further. So, quality footballer. Got some of his achievements as well. 7-time Premier League winner, 1-time Champions League winner, 4-time FA Cup winner. He won a Scottish title as well with Celtic. But the leadership you got from him, and then battles with Vieira, like quality, and the fondest memories of my childhood growing up was, and a lot of it was that, then matchups against Arsenal and the excitement, the build-up before the games, and just loved it. So Roy Keane, the best captain I've ever seen, and leader of men. And he was a quality footballer. Then that game when he, against Juventus, and got us into the final and sacrificed himself, which we went on to win without him. Just, do you know what I mean? Sacrificing himself for that Champions League final, as I said, and then United going on to win it against Bayern Munich in the way they did. Best leader of men I've ever seen, and he scored that header against Juventus in the semi-finals as well. Crucial clutch. Don't think he gets the credit he should. He's very outspoken, and maybe that's why, but that's not a good enough reason for me. We need people like him in football, characters, and he was one of the best. Roy Keane, number 3. Number 2, Paul Scholes. In terms of ability and talent, maybe the best ever. It's certainly for an Englishman. Could bang a goal in, good work rate, not the best tackler, I admit that. Didn't get the best out of him in England. He was forced out of position for England. Should have won a World Cup or something with Paul Scholes. He was that good. You have countless ex-players saying that he was their inspiration and admired him and was the best player they ever played against. Xavi said it for Barcelona. I think Henry said it once. Best player that they ever played against. I think Zidane might have said it as well. I mean, that just shows you the talent and the ability. And in terms of, like I said, talent and ability and just stuff he did, unbelievable. I've even heard stuff about him in training and stuff, shots and passes and accuracy that he had, and a shy character. A bit like a Kante, you could say. Maybe not as shy as Kante, but what a player. Someone that I don't think we've replaced again. Like I said earlier with Gerrard at England, I don't think, even though it didn't work out for him in England with Paul Scholes, I don't think we've got a player like that anymore, and we haven't since he went. Come back out of retirement for Manchester United and still looked as good. Changed his position a little bit, but still looked as good. He has to be on this list, and he could easily be number 1. So Paul Scholes for me, 11-time Premier League winner, 2-time Champions League winner, 4-time FA Cup winner, 3-time Carling Cup winner, and 1 FIFA Club World Cup as well. Quality player, and as I said, it's a shame we didn't get more out of him and the best out of him in an England shirt. But how good was he? I miss watching him play a lot. Some of the volleys he scored as well. Paul Scholes, number 2. And then at number 1, a current player. And I surprised myself a little bit when I was putting this list together, ranking them, that I ended up with him as number 1. But the stuff he does on the ball is like watching a video game. The best passer of a ball I've seen since Beckham, in terms of set pieces, dead balls and open play, crosses, crossfield balls, crosses into the box from the wing, just through balls, shots on goal. Like, his goal scoring ability is very good as well, very well rounded. It's Kevin De Bruyne. He does things, like I said, it's like watching a video game. First time passes that people wouldn't even be able to do if they controlled it first and then tried to play that pass. Unbelievable stuff I'm seeing from him. Obviously, he's won multiple titles already. Can you imagine that he was at Chelsea when, I think it was Mourinho's second stint, and he didn't like him, he didn't fancy him, so he shipped him out on loan and stuff. He must be kicking himself for that, because what a player we have. I'd be surprised if he retires and doesn't win anything with Belgium with that squad they've got. And I do think that he's going to win more titles with City. They're definitely going to win the league this year, so that's another one he can add to his honours. He's won a lot of Carabao Cups, I think, as well. They've won like 5 or something, I think, which I think he's been that for all of them. And under Pep as well, I mean, you're just going to get even better out of him. So for me, Kevin De Bruyne, a modern footballer, and I think he's evolved the game a lot in that midfield position and the role he plays, and I feel like I couldn't put him anywhere else but number 1, because like I said, you watch the things he does on the pitch and it looks like you're not watching a human. Like, in his position, it looks like he's an alien, the stuff he does on the field. So for me, Kevin De Bruyne has to be number 1. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Especially shout out to Josh. Thank you for suggesting this one. I did say I would do it soon, so I wanted to get it done for you today. Hope you enjoyed it, mate, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it. And remember, guys, before I go, 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of June. That's the target. We can do it, guys, but I can only do it with your help. So appreciate the support. Share the video, put a thumbs up on a video, get it out to your friends, get them to subscribe as well. Appreciate everyone that does subscribe. I've seen it got up a few in a few days since I've been mentioning this, so I'm seeing it and noticing it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I appreciate the love, guys, and I'll see you soon.